Welcome to this Ambitious Essex Growth Hub event on digital marketing with also a workshop afterwards. This is delivered by Revive Digital. Thank you for everybody in the room for turning up and everybody online. As this is a hybrid event, this will be recorded for you to watch back later on should you wish to. But also if I could ask people in the room to mute their mobiles, that'd be appreciated. The Ambitious Essex Growth Hub provides businesses in Essex with a single point of access to a wide range of local, regional and national support. Our team of friendly and experienced navigators offer free and impartial signposting to help new and existing businesses find the most suitable business support for them. Please speak to any of our colleagues on the networking portion of this workshop for more information. Or you can email in. Obviously, if you see the slide, you will see there's information, ways to contact us on the last slide, and there's a telephone number on this slide as well. For participants online, please contact us via our web, email or phone details on screen. And also you can place details in the chat and we will respond to you. We'll be taking pictures throughout and filming throughout this webinar. So please, if you are unhappy with this, if you contact one of us and we will make arrangements for this not to happen to you. Just like to say a very big thank you to the SAV Centre for the use of this great venue. My name is Brian Pennell. I'm with Smarter Society. And I'm a part of the Ambitious Growth Hub. Some of them you may recognise my voice because I've engaged with quite a lot of you on the phone already. So welcome. Following this presentation, there will be a Q&A session. For those attending virtually, I will represent you in the room. So if you put your questions in the chat, I will represent you and the speaker will answer the questions accordingly. Now it's time for our main speakers, Phil Thomas, Managing Director, and James Higgs, Creative Director from Revive Digital. Please.
Thank you, Brian. I'm here with James. James, step into frame just for a second. James is going to be talking about brands, authenticity, and things like that a little bit later. I'm going to be talking about the work we do at Revive in terms of marketing. This workshop covers a few little bits. It'll be an introduction really about a sort of a marketing approach to marketing that I think all businesses can use just to kind of get out there and attract attention. And then we'll be going through marketing funnels. An hour is not enough to give you everything you need to know about marketing, but hopefully this is some good takeaways. Yeah, I'm going to throw you out of frame now, James. I'm going to grab a seat and I'll grab you back up. I'll do a quick intro to who I are, why you should listen. My name's Phil Thomas. I've been running Revive Digital for around 20 years, and my job is to help other companies grow. That's what we do. I've got slides and everything. Let's see if they work. I've got a decent audience online as well. So if you are watching from your desk at work or from home or wherever you might be, a beach maybe, do engage. I hate talking to camera. It's very soulless. And marketing is fundamentally about people. So if you've got a question, please ask it. I want to be interrupted. I get through 40 minutes of talking straight to camera and no one's interrupted me. I think I've failed. So if you've got a question, do a sensible one, please, obviously. And there's a team here that will wave their hands at me and put those questions forward. Pop it in the chat. Please don't try and do it through the mics. Let's see if this... there we go. Hi guys, I've cut it from grab a seat. The headline is Master Digital Marketing, which is a very grandiose title. Again, we've got an hour, so buckle up. Revive Digital is a marketing agency. Revo1 is a brand and design studio which James runs. We'll introduce that later. That's me, that's James, and I've already done the who we are really, but as normally established companies grow and grow further, get their messaging out, develop the messaging, get found, attract attention, convert that attention into sales, and yeah, make their businesses grow. It's not about me today. It's really about delivering something that you hopefully at home or at your desks or in the room can use and take away. I'll be talking about the 7-11-4 framework, marketing framework, which is very well known, established, used by lots of different companies to, as a bit of an arbitrary measure whether they're doing a good job or not, and actually attracting the right sort of people. And we're going to look very briefly at the digital marketing sales funnel, or digital sales funnel. And we're going to be talking about branding and storytelling, which I absolutely love. So with no further ado, 7-11-4, they're just three numbers. It's not anything magical particularly, but it's about attention. Attention is everybody's got a smartphone generally. Everyone's got a TV, everyone's got a PC, a laptop, and Alexa in their house. My wife's Alexa, so I have two Alexas in my house, and they both ignore me. Yeah, everything is trying to get our attention the whole time. It's jumping out of us. Our phones beep. My phone is on do not disturb for the next 2 hours, because if it wasn't, I'd have 30 different WhatsApp groups pinging at me. I'd have notifications from news channels. I'd have everything that's trying to grab my attention. Attention is gold. Everybody wants it, and you and your businesses, you want it as well. If you don't have someone's attention, they're not going to buy from you. It's as simple as that. It's difficult because how do you run down Saffron High Street with a great big yellow banana suit on? How do you get attention? It's the right sort of attention as well. The 7-11-4 I've mentioned it's a framework that says, actually, if you're going to put out content, if you're going to put out whether that's advertising, whether that's videos, whether that's social media stuff, it's having seven hours of accessible content. I'll come back to that. About your business or your services, 11 touch points, and a touch point might be a website, side of a van, back of a bus, radio channel, TV spot, anywhere your messaging can be seen. And four locations in the different areas where that might be seen. The reason to do just we come across companies quite a lot to say, I've been doing this campaign, I've been putting out flyers for the last 10 years, it just isn't working. What else are you doing? Putting out flyers or running an email campaign or doing a newsletter on itself just isn't enough. You have to be seen. Attention is, people are fickle. They'll see your thing, they scroll past it. Social media, they see your message, scroll straight past. They'll see you on the back of a bus and they go, oh, okay, and they'll ignore it. They'll see your van drive by. It goes in there. You have to be seen as many times as possible. The message here really is about actually putting out, how are your customers going to know that you exist? It's a very short intro to the funnel. But if they can't see you, they don't know what you do, and they don't know what your problem you're solving, they can't buy from you. And that really is kind of get out there. Whether it's do a blog, write a newsletter, but you need that 7 hours of people's content out in the ether somewhere. Whether I say that's a video, a blogger, whatever it might be. I'm going to move on from that slide because I think I've overlabored that point. Digital sales funnel. Is there any questions from anyone in the room or online before I move on? No? Great stuff. Right. Digital sales funnel. Does everyone know what a sales funnel is? You'll get nods in the room. Fantastic. If you don't know what a sales funnel is, it's very old. It's an old school way of looking at actually how people buy, basically. Everyone's in business ultimately to solve a problem, usually to sell something, to get money for the service or product you offer. The sales funnel is that idea. The digital sales funnel is the idea of actually how does that person, one, find you? That's the attract. How do they engage with you? How do you then convert them into a customer? How do you hang on to them as a customer? Or actually about then re-engaging them if they go away as a customer. We look after quite a lot of very large websites. And one of the things I often say is, give them the first person to the website's easy. Give them the second time is the one that really matters. It's if you can pay to have someone go to your website, but if they hit the website and they don't find what they're looking for, and they don't actually engage with the content there, or they don't buy into it, then yeah, you won't get them again, or you have to pay twice as much to get them the second time. So that second bite of the cherry. That's the sorry, Laura put these slides together. That'll make me laugh. Yeah, it's completely thrown me actually. I have a lot of people say we're getting this many hits to our website. That's old school, or this many views on social media, or this many followers. And I think, oh, that's really exciting. I've got 20,000 followers on Instagram. That's really good. How much do they buy from you? Who are these people? What are they? And, oh, I don't know. Who are all these people hitting your website? Or does that translate into sales? Attracting is a starting point in the funnel. You've got to have people know about you. They can't purchase from you if they don't know you exist. But they've got to be the right people. And James is going to talk a little bit more about that in the brand segment in a little bit. It's all well and good. I can throw money into Google or social media, Facebook, Meta, all those things, and go, here's £1,000, make traffic happen. And it will. And you'll get people hitting your website. And if you don't do it properly, you'll have 14-year-old kids looking to buy games, and you're selling retirement plans. It doesn't make sense. So you need the right people, and that's really about understanding who your audience is, what problem you solve for them, where those people are. And also the other thing I always say about Attract, particularly we do a lot of work with Google SEO, helping websites to rank. That's a great tool and strategy if people know what you do. If they don't know what you do, there is no point being top of Google for it, because no one searches it. If no one's searching, they ain't going to find you. So you then have to do awareness. So that's two ways of thinking around attraction. Do people know what you sell? And then is it about providing it to them and them finding you at top of Google or seeing you on social media? If they don't know what you do, how do you educate them in a way that talks to a pain they're suffering at the moment? Have you got that new fantastic trainers that takes away Achilles pain? Something I'm feeling at the moment. First thing that came to mind. So yeah, if people don't know that you exist, that they can't find you. I'll jump onto engage. I've just done a little slide in the middle here, so I've just done it. So the website for us as a marketing agency is often, not always, but often the key sort of crux point of your marketing. We come across people spending tens of thousands of pounds on marketing, and then you look at their website. Oh my goodness, no one's ever going to buy from that. And they spend all the money at the top part of the funnel, the attract bit, getting people onto the website, and then they drop the ball on the engagement part. And the website uses too much jargon. They'll say something like, we offer an unparalleled service to our customers in the Southeast, delivering excellence in customer service. What do you do? It makes no sense. And much better would be, we offer the best, freshest bakery in Rayleigh High Street, offering morning fresh Belgian buns that make your mouth water, or something like that. It's a dreadful example, but be specific about the product or service you're offering. The website bit. This is probably the most common mistake we see when I'm looking at websites every single day. People don't actually say what they do, and when they do say what they do it badly. It's a favourite point of mine to labour. A lot of the clients that do say what they do sell at the customer. They say, we sell mortgages, or we sell this, we do this. And they talk about the product. I won't talk too much because I'm covering it in a later slide, but it's much better to talk about the problem you solve. And so the idea is someone should hit your website, however they got there, whether it was social media, or they heard you on the radio, or they scanned the QR code, or whatever it was that got onto your website. When they see your website, they should be saying, ha, that's me. Yeah, well, that sounds like a problem I've got, and that sounds like a solution. That's what you want to be engendering in the people that visit your website. There's some stats on that slide, which I know the slides will be sent out later. Online retail is absolutely huge. I think there's 62 million people buying things online in the UK out of the population of 68, which seems enormous. Basically, if you're not selling online, you're not going to be in business if you're selling. So that's just something to be aware of. We can fall down the rabbit hole on SEO, because SEO's been SEO, search engine optimization, is just being top of Google basically for the right things when someone searches you. So if you were bespoke tailors, someone might look for bespoke suit making company or something like that, and you want to be top of Google when the person with the need that you solve searches, you want to be found. If you're a local business servicing local, Google does change the results to show more local results. If it works out you're looking for something that is regional, if I'm looking for a mobile tyre fitters or a repair van or something like that, it would serve results that are closer to you. So you don't have to try and be top of Google nationally for everything. It's important to be found in the right area. But Google does that bit. SEO is becoming a bit of a weird art at the moment because of what AI is doing. So I'm not going to fall down that rabbit hole because we don't have the whole afternoon. We do another session on that. But yeah, it's still relevant. It's still important, and will be for a little while to come, I think. Although it's becoming a little bit confused with the AI search results. But yeah, SEO, it's an easy thing to check. As often as we put paid ads, PR, podcasts, other things in there as well. But actually being found is really important. Engagement, you've got that person to. Before I go on to next funnel bit, is there any questions from the room on that first bit, or nothing from the?
Nothing online at the moment. Hold on. I have a new, so hang up. From Eric Lowe, I have a unique product with IP granted, about to pre-launch. Testing for a Kickstarter launch with support for a US company, launchboom.com, using Meta for ads.
Yeah.
Can Revive offer a service to other media pre-launch to engage a larger bandwidth, possibly buyers, also support after Kickstarter for retail launch based in Chelmsford, Colchester area? What I will do is I will give that to you there, so you can have a quick look at that. It's quite in depth.
No, I think I got that. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Thanks, Brian. Short version, yes, we can. We do work like that. The things to consider: if it's a unique product, you've got intellectual property signed up, patented, or whatever it might be. It's what I said. If it's a unique product, people don't know it exists. So assuming your product is addressing a pain that people have, hopefully. If it's not addressing pain, you've got a lot more work on your hands. But hopefully your product addresses a pain. Then it's really about you market off the back of the pain. You say, actually, are you suffering this? Are you feeling this? And you talk to the emotional aspects of whatever it is your product addresses. And then you roll in with our product addresses that pain in this way, and you will feel like this after you've dealt with our product. And you actually bring out the left behinds. Once you've dealt with us, your world will be better because X. And that's the way you market it. Meta ads are fantastic for that because you can create customized audiences. And assume you've done the work to know who your buying audience is. So you can say, actually, I want to market to stay-at-home mums who have pets, or it might be business owners who, whatever it might be. And you can do that through a lot of the online social channels, but it's a awareness outreach campaign rather than search or paid search. I would assume it's a new product. Another question?
It's a follow on from the last one. Eric has said the pain is disturbed sleep caused by duvet theft.
I love that. Sign me up. I'll identify with that pain. That'd be a really. I would actually think that's something you could market really well. You could do some very comical videos on that. That would stop the scroll on social media and immediately understand that pain. So
most people do, don't they?
Exactly. I think that should be quite an easy one to market. The challenge will be, I often say, are you over engineering a problem? Is it a bigger? Is the problem big enough to make people part with money on it? So, another question.
Can you just Google search priorities?
This is
from. Sorry. Can you Google search prioritize the location from where you search? Or did I misunderstand? That was from Andrew.
With Google, the Google search is if you're doing paid search, you can target a geographic area, and you can do it two ways. You can say, show my ads to people in, for example, in Eric's case, Chelmsford, or you can do ads for someone that's got an interest in a product in Chelmsford as well. So if I'm in Ipswich and I'm searching for whatever it might be, a mattress maker in Chelmsford, you can do it both ways. To Andrew's point, Google serves up regional results as well. So it's like a challenge, and that's what I mean by that is we often have people say, oh, I'm top of Google already, and then we're sitting in their office searching their service or product, and sure enough, they come top of Google, and that's because Google knows where they are based on their internet, their Wi-Fi. And yes, you're in your office, Google is servicing you the nearest result, which happens to be you. And some of the work we'll do is we run analysis to see, are you turning up top of Google or high in Google further out? If you're an Essex-based business, are you turning up all across Essex? We've just done this locally Ben with a tool hire company quite recently. You might show up on the doorstep. Are you showing up across the county? Go for it.
Varsha Patel, does this apply to B2B or just B2C?
Both. B2B and B2C, it's just different routes to market, and B2B2C. And yeah, in terms of Google, it's just about understanding people. So a consumer might be a little more impatient. Usually they've been hooked on Amazon, so they want things now. They want it, I want it turning up tomorrow. So consumers tend to be a little bit more, they'll maybe look at the first thing and buy it. If it's a low value product, if it's a high value product, they'll take a bit more time and consider it. Businesses are often looking a bit more around trust and reputation. But we come to trust and reputation a bit later as well. But yeah, the methodology is similar. When you're actually looking about addressing a pain, it's whether it's a personal pain, as in our example, need a good night's sleep, or if it's a business pain, is your accountant taking too long to do your books, or whatever it might be. They're still pains that they're still being solved. So we don't really distinguish much. We look after businesses and consumers. Hopeless. Are we there? I shall move on. Yeah, engagement. The third point on that bullet list for me is offering value. That's the one that's don't sell, offer value. We always try and do, and everything we do is give value first. If you can give something of value, people will trust you more. And that there's yeah, that trust thing is, I think, is on a later slide as well. But the engagement piece is really about understanding. Right, they found you, they found your website, they found your social media pages, whatever it may be. But then it's understanding how you engage with that person. A bit fluffy, but the value piece is really important. For me, it's, do we genuinely believe when we work with companies, we're looking for yeah, I've got a pop up on the screen. I've been told to. Okay, I'll ignore that. Yeah, when we're engaging with a client, we're looking for, is this client actually doing a good job? Can we get behind them in terms of marketing? I don't ethically believe in promoting a bad service. So I wouldn't want to market something that I think is ripping someone off or offering really bad value, because ultimately that is not long term. It's ethical, but it's not a good way. It's not economical to do it. If you offer good value and you can engage with people, and actually they understand, hang on, this person can solve the pain I've got, they will buy from you and they'll tell their friends about it. And that's where your value really digs in. If they're talking about you in the pub, you're winning. Yeah, the consistency thing as well is really important. We've all been there. We've had a really good experience from a restaurant or something, and we tell everybody about it. I went to this fantastic restaurant on the weekend. It was really good. The customer service was fabulous. Food was amazing. Turned up early. It was cheaper than I thought it was going to be. And you tell everybody about it. You go again 2 weeks later, and actually the service is sloppy, the food's cold, and then you're going, hang on a minute, what went wrong there? And then you feel silly for having recommended it. So the consistency thing is really important. So when you do engage with people, it's delivering value, be consistent. There's some other bits around email journalists, community nurturing as well, which I could go into, but we'll be here all day. I'm going to jump on. But yeah, the last bullet point, or the last headline, don't just shout offers, don't sell. It's sell by helping is always a better way forward. I'm going to close this thingy. Let's pop that. I'm going to pass over now to James, who's going to talk about brand promotion. James has been running Revo One Studio for 10 years. He's the creative director, he's an expert in creative design. If you're in the Southend area anytime over the next few months, you'll see some of his artwork on the high street, where we've got involved in the Penguins tour and all the various things. But I'll pass over to James, who's going to talk about brands and emotion. James.
Hi everyone. Phil's intro me better than I was going to do myself, so I'll leave it there. Phil's made some really good points here, all valuable, but one thing that I want to talk about is that without a strong brand behind you, it's really difficult to make all that stuff stick. So what we're going to talk about today is, briefly, we're going to go through how your brand is more than just a visual identity, and how we can make that work for you, and what you need in place for it. So everyone in this room, everyone watching online, you're going to have brands that you have an affinity with, that you buy. You might not even question why you buy it, but you buy it because it feels like part of you. I mean, does anyone in the room have anything like that? Is there anyone that only buys Apple products? Is there anyone that only wears a certain clothes brand? Yeah. So
was that you, or was that a question?
Yeah.
No, that's me.
I thought it was a question already. I mean, I guarantee, I can say 99% that you didn't buy them products because of the logo, right? You bought it because there's an emotional pull behind it that speaks to you. And that's literally what we're here to talk about today is brand and emotion. You know, it's a common misconception that the branding is all about logos and color palettes and typography. They go so much deeper than that. You can have the best looking brand in the world. If you don't have all the foundations underneath it, it's not going to matter whatsoever. A good example of that, let's say you've got a brilliant business model for a t-shirt company. You've got these brilliant t-shirts. They've got fantastic prints on them. You start selling them. Wow, great business. You've got another t-shirt business, look at it, or another person look at it and say, hey, I could do that too. They get the same t-shirts, they're selling them at the same price. Straight away, your audience has halved, and that will keep going and keep going and keep going. So what we need to do is look at what makes us start out in the first place. What makes these brands different? Is we need to differentiate. So, for example, with these two t-shirts companies, maybe t-shirt company that started out in the beginning was that they've got interests in the world and a healthy planet, and they want it to be a better place, and that's something they really believe in. So they start ethically sourcing their material and their prints, and that start to reflect that. But they're creating their own audience where people that also have those same beliefs, they then think, well, I'm going to go with them. They're more me. Then they're getting that emotional pull. And that they're creating their own audience with their own affinity. The other company, you might say, hey, do you know what? We're really into high quality streetwear. We're going to go down that route. They create their own audience. They're differentiating, and that is how it works. So yeah, it's. I mean, that's surface level differentiating. You could then sort of break it down. We're in times at the moment where marketplaces are incredibly crowded, so the more differentiating that we can do, the better. Which leads me on to my next point before we get into each of these points on this slide, is that as Phil's touched on already, AI is a massive thing at the moment. We're noticing more than ever that companies are coming to us and they're using AI, or they've used AI to go and get themselves a logo and a business name. They're the exciting bits. They're the bits that we like jumping into. However, they don't have all the groundwork there and the framework. So essentially, they're hitting a brick wall quite early on in their journey. And because of that, they're joining this incredibly noisy marketplace where everyone is shouting and no one's getting heard. So there's an upside and a downside to this. There is a busier marketplace and there's lots more people competing. The upside to that is that it doesn't actually take an awful lot to jump above them and be heard. To do that, you just really need to set the groundwork and do what we're about to go through properly. And if you've got that, if you've got your framework, you've got your foundations, you're setting yourself up for success and something to build upon. So if we're going into values, first of all, now I'm aware that a lot of businesses start out and they say, hey, yeah, we've got our values. This is what they are. And usually they're one word and they get memorized. We've seen it a number of times, but really, if you're not living by these values, you're going to get caught out pretty quick, especially in today's age amongst Gen Z and millennials. They are hot on this. If you say, let's take Patagonia, for example. For those of you that aren't aware of Patagonia, they are very much in it for creating a better future, for creating a better planet. Now, they are a very good company and they live by their values, and that's why they've got an extremely strong following of passionate people. If they went and said, oh, actually, for the last 20 years, we've been lying to you, our t-shirts haven't been ethically sourced, they have made a mockery of all those people that have bought into them as a brand. So it reaches beyond just what they're doing. Everyone that wears a Patagonia shirt at that point will have been living a lie as well. And so it reaches far beyond. And to be fair, if that's where you're going, sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
Happens to the best of us, don't worry.
Yeah, my point is that it reaches far beyond the damage that it can do to the company, and people are so switched on these days. You've got social media to throw into the ring as well. Word spreads quickly, so values are there to not only to guide followers and to let them know what you're doing, but also it guides you internally as well, so people know what you stand for. It's really important as well for the people that work for you to know what you stand for, so that they're building a career and they're building a life in something that they know makes a difference. Yes, Ben.
In this age of AI, how would you guys recommend you stand out as being extra human? How does someone do that?
I think what I usually say to people is you've just got to be unapologetically yourself. We're not perfect, but it's those imperfections that make us endearing and real. You know, when we look at, I'll come on to a bit in authenticity later, but when we're looking online now, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to write stuff and post it, and it's so obvious to see it. And when I see it, I think you don't really care. You're just doing this for a post. So yeah, I think you just be you. And I know that sounds like a really simple answer, but I couldn't say a truer answer than that. If you're yourself, then that's it. Yes.
Emma Frost, I use AI to guide me sometimes, but it's making sure it's you. So editing it is a real thing. So editing is a real thing. That's from Emma.
I use AI a lot. It helps me every day. One tip that actually Laura, who's sitting here, she told me about is that if you speak to it, you can really get your voice over, and it helps understand you a lot better than if you're typing. So, you know, I'll go on a dog walk on the weekend, and if I've got thoughts about something, I'll talk to it. And then, you know, I'll say to it, hey, I actually think we could write a really good blog about this. Can you interview me question by question? So I'm walking my dog around and I'm answering these questions one by one. And then out of it, I formulate a blog that is all my words and completely in my voice, but I haven't sat there writing it for ages. So it's still my voice when people read it. So if that answers. Cool. So yeah, we'll move on to mission. So mission is what we're aiming for. It's bigger than just selling. It's direction and belief. You've got to have something to aim for. And I, you know, as much as I hate this phrase, it's your North Star. Shoot me. It helps both your team and your audience believe in where you're heading. And it should go beyond just it's more than selling products. So you need to aim big. You need to have something to aim for. You know, if you've got a business, you know, you're an entrepreneur, you've got a mind that's always thinking and coming up with good ideas. If you've got a mission, it stops you from going astray, and that's not to say it's a bad thing, but for your one business to focus on that, you've got something you're striving for, something to really believe in. So again, it's not just for yourself or for the company, it's for the people that work for you. They need to know where they're heading. So get that in place, and values and mission really help start to create that framework that you can build your brand from. So I'll go back to the identity stage of it. It's really difficult to create a visual identity if you don't know this stuff. Like if you don't know where you're going and where you're supposed to be, all of this stuff combines as one and becomes that visually. So just to sort of back up why this is really important. Next up, if we're going to personas, we have any questions on?
No, we don't. No.
Cool. If we start talking about personas, so like knowing your audience properly. Personas are about knowing who you're actually talking to. Now, a really interesting point on this is if you're trying to think about who you're talking to or who your business wants to talk to, you start thinking in terms of demographics, so like age groups, gender, and so forth. Now, this only sort of tells half the story. What we found out is that psychographics are a lot more important. So I don't know if any of you are aware, there's quite a well-known example of this. If I was to say to you, I've got these two men, they're both in their 70s, they both got loads of dogs, they both live in castles. There's a few more examples of that as well. You'd think, okay, yeah, they're the same sort of people, I can peddle my product to them, and that would be, well, no, actually you can't, because one of these men is King Charles and the other one is Ozzy Osbourne. You wouldn't push your product to the same two people. Demographically, they're exactly the same. Psychographically, you can get more separate. So it's really worth digging into who you want your audience to be. and talking to them as well. Talk to your audience, find out what they're like. You know, you'd be surprised what you can find out. Next, we're going on to voice. So voice becomes how you express yourself as a brand. So your brand, you treat it as its own persona, as it were, it's its own person. So, you know, there's all sorts of cringeworthy exercises that we can do in workshops. You know, how would your brand act if it was at a party? What do they act like now that they're drunk? It is worth thinking about. Or for example, think of a celebrity that you think that your brand might be like, and it helps you start to formulate who they are, how they act. That in turn gives you, how are you going to talk on your website about yourself? How are you going to talk on social media? Which then breaks down into, how does your brand talk about itself on LinkedIn when it's being a bit more professional? How does your brand talk about itself when it's on Instagram? So you almost need to build out this character, and it doesn't need to be too rigid either. It's worth saying that you need to allow your brand sort of this room to breathe and to grow. It's almost a human thing. It can't be set in stone. You know, we send out brand guidelines. They are guidelines. You stick to them, but you also allow them to breathe and to adapt and to grow. So there's plenty of exercises you could look up online when it comes to tone of voice to try and formulate it, but just think about how it would be if it was a person. A lot of the time it does take on the form of the person that founded the brand, and it slowly adapts out of it, and that's a good starting point. But it's a very important thing, and the key to having a brand voice is consistency. So you want to keep it consistent, and that will set you apart from your AIs online. People will know that that's you. They'll know that that's you talking, and again, that feeds into your brand identity really clearly. And lastly, if anyone's got any questions on tone of voice, lastly, we're just going to go on to authenticity. We touched on it briefly from Ben's question earlier. So this one's really important. It's a bit of a buzzword at the moment, authenticity, but it is so important for us to pay attention to. And that is because we are seeing an internet that is being flooded with AI. I've got a friend who texts me and he uses AI to reply to me. I can't be bothered to reply to him. So we really need to make ourselves stand out and be real more than ever now. And that is how we're going to sort of, you know, get interaction online. One thing I will say is a bit more specific. If you're using something like LinkedIn for your business, it's very hard to get reach on there. You don't get much interaction. This is pretty normal. What we're starting to see is by building up your personal brand. So I'm assuming you're all on LinkedIn, you've all got your personal accounts. You build your personal brand up, that feeds into your business account. The two go together. I've recently had quite a few articles do quite well on there, and it was a bit of a learning curve for me because you know, I've been on there for years. I've been posting stuff. It gets all right sort of engagement, mostly from people that I know. But recently I started posting about AI in the creative industry, and it sort of blew up. And I realised that I am talking about things that people that care about deeply. They're worried for it, they're excited about it, there's so much emotion running through it. It was gaining a lot of traction. So that comes back to being authentic. I was being real. I was posting about something that I actually had a problem with. I was a bit angry about it. I posted about it, and then people were agreeing with me, people were disagreeing with me. Either way, that's, you know, that's up to people. It's a good thing, but the fact that I was authentic about it helped me engage, and that is feeding into Revo One, my brand, off the back of it. So everything is linked. So yeah, to wrap it up, at the moment, where we are with AI, it's not going away. It's only going to get more and more. And to be honest, it's getting more and more clever, and it's going to be more difficult to tell it apart. But yeah, I think the main key point to take away from this is my answer to you, Ben, earlier, is just be yourself. That is all you can do. Yes.
Andrew asks, as your brand evolves, how do you manage it to ensure you demonstrate that your core values, etc., are there? I am put off when businesses chase fads, and this can appear contradictory to what they previously portrayed.
I mean, they're not sticking to them values that they set in the first place. Same as me, you know, I'm put off by that immediately. When we're going through brand exercises at Revo One and we're doing our workshops, It's really important to me that we don't chase trends, fads, and fashions because they get outdated really quickly. So if you are creating your brand at the start of it, from what you believe in, from what you really care about, then they won't run out. If you do it right, it will last the test of time. Cool. Any questions in the room? Cool. Okay, I'm going to hand you over to Phil now. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
James, my stuff's going to feel boring now. No, that's really good. Actually, I think that the authenticity bit is huge. It's just yeah, that people by people, and that's becoming, as James said, more and more important now. Actually, as the internet is filling up with AI, and we're all using it in various different ways, and people are trying to take shortcuts. I've been getting lots of AI sales people ringing me. I just hang straight up. I'll still talk to the real salespeople, but anyway, that's another talk for another day. I shall jump on to, I'm going to whiz through the last three. I'm not going to labour these ones actually. Yeah, I think one of the things we always do as an agency when someone comes to us and says, I want to build my brand, build my business, get out there, is we'll look at what they've got. We'll look at the current assets, the collateral they've got, the websites, the flyers, the brochures, the marketing, the LinkedIn profiles, the social media. And often the first thing we'll have to do is we need to do a brand exercise, and we'll actually go back to James's team and they'll do a workshop. We'll survey out customers and staff, management team, shareholders if they're that sort of company, and say, what is it about this company that you like? What is it that you value? What is it that makes you buy from this person? And sometimes the company's a surprise. Oh, do you know what? I just didn't know it was that. And we've often seen it where the staff feel one way about the company and the management had a different idea and they've not communicated it very well. So that whole brand piece, that exercise around developing out who you are, and as James said, it goes so much further than just your logo and your color palette and your fonts. It's that they're assets as part of your brand, but really knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, where you're going with your mission, and actually being real about it. That's a really crucial starting point where it's very difficult for us to market a company if they don't know who they are or what their value is or what their customers value in it. Conversion, for me, that's segues. Really, getting interest. We started with the whole idea of attention, being seen, the 7 of before, and actually getting out there, taking people through that sort of journey of attracting them, flagging them down on social media, catching their ear on the radio, finding them, being found at top of search and getting them to your website. You've engaged with them in a way that they went, do you know what, this company gets me. They understand my pain. They understand I'm not getting a good night's sleep because someone's nicking my duvet every night. Whatever that engagement is, you've got that, you've done that piece well, great. Now it's about converting, and we do a lot of work around conversion on websites. Obviously, people drop off on payment pages. This one drives me absolutely mad. I come across it a lot. You go to this wonderful marketing piece, bringing someone into a website or so that engagement funnel, and they get to the bit where you're actually going, right, now pay for the thing. They will put it's the most common one I see a lot. They put a big form button that says, have you got a voucher code? Enter it here. Now, I don't know about anybody else. When I see that on a form, the first thing I do is I stop. I go back to the internet and you look for the voucher. And if you can't find a voucher, you go, oh, that's a bit annoying. Someone else got a voucher. I didn't get a voucher. Maybe I don't want this thing after all. Or maybe I should be getting it cheaper elsewhere. And we'll often say to people who are selling online with e-commerce sites, great to have vouchers and discount codes and all that rest of it, but do it in a way that doesn't interrupt the flow of the, have a little checkbox that then opens up another window that says, oh, enter your voucher. Don't make it so blindingly obvious that it interrupts the thought process. Easy things for people we've seen have a really good Apple Pay or Google Pay. If you're on your mobile, they've revolutionized buying online. We used to say people don't buy on mobiles. People didn't used to buy on the mobile phone. It was too much hassle and they didn't trust it. Now with Apple Pay and Google Pay and things like that, a lot of these online payment providers, it's a tick box to turn it on. And that lets people double click and pay for thousands of pounds worth of goods. People do, and they buy that on their mobile, sitting on the bus, on the train, on the toilet, wherever they happen to be. And they'll purchase at that moment when it feels good. So I think actually that conversion piece, whether it's turning someone into a lead, actually don't put huge great forms in front of people. That's another very common one people do a lot. There'll be this huge, great, you want to work with us, our mortgage brokerage, here's a 20-page form. You're like, oh, do you know what, I'll do that later. There's lots of little techniques where you can bring someone along the journey, ask the name, slide, ask their email, slide, are you married, slide, do you have, have you got a house already, slide. And you can make lots of little successes, little rewards, big green tick, take someone on the journey, and you get the same data, but it's not this huge great big form full of scares people off. Yeah, there's a load of bullet points on there. I'm aware time is ticking fairly. So we're okay for time. Okay, I don't want to rush through too much of it. Yeah, but I think that conversion piece is where we often see massive wins for clients as well. We've had clients where spending tens of thousands of pounds in marketing, they come to us and they think, we're doing this, and you look at the conversion rate, and we had one a couple of years ago, and the conversion rate was 0.05. And I was like, oh my word. And they were still doing good money through their website. But they were spending all the money at the front end of the funnel, paying for people to come to the website. The website was a disaster. And it had great big red all over it, and warning signs of, that all their prices were in red. Don't do that. All the buttons were scary or didn't look like buttons. And then it was just such a horrendous experience. And I said, if you actually, the way we approached that particular one, they had physical stores as well. So what happens when someone walks into your store? How do you engage them in the store? They say, oh, well, we go up and we shake their hands and say, how are you doing today? And then we ask them about their problem, and then we ask them about what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve. And actually, that particular product was a physical product. Do you have a car? Do you need to be able to lift it into the car yourself? And it was that journey. And said, well, where's that on the website? And it was completely absent. And the website just basically wasn't converting or at a meaningful rate. And the effort in doubling conversion on a website is the equivalent of doubling your marketing spend. If you think about it, if you're spending £1,000 a month and you're converting at 0.05, if you can get someone up to 0.1%, you've effectively doubled your spend, but without actually doubling your spend. You're getting twice as much value, but with actually no extra money going in. And if you can, typical websites should convert between 3 to 7%. And whether that's leads, that's sales, there are obviously variances in that depending on industry. So if you know how many actual people are visiting your website, you should be able to do that maths and go, 100 people visit my website, I should have had 3 to 7 leads, customers, sales off that. 200 people, you double it. It's easy maths, high school maths. So you should be able to know, you can get that data from Google Analytics or any of those other tools exist. Yeah, you should know how well you should be doing. And if you're not doing that, wherever you're selling a consultancy service or a product, whatever it is, you should be able to get those numbers quite easily. And knowing your numbers, I'm a big fan of the data, but it does tell you what's working. The conversion piece is probably, they're all important, those funnel stage. The conversion piece is where we often see the biggest impact. You sell the value, you get the people engaged, you bring the right people onto your website or social pages. The conversion is the bit that puts the money in your bank. You get that bit wrong, you're left scratching going, and people go, oh, marketing doesn't work. Something that marketing does work, you just need to know it works and actually take responsibility for the whole funnel. And there's a few other bits, some of them are quite technical, things like abandoned cart nudges. We do things like retargeting. You go and look at those pair of trainers and then you see those ads everywhere for the next 2 days. You've put something in your shopping basket. Amazon's very good at this. You put something in your basket, you don't go to purchase. It just, hey, you forgot to buy that, whatever it was. And it reminds you to come back and do it. Those things are actually quite easy to set up. They're basically free to do. Yeah, you leave money on the table. We'll often measure the metrics between the value put in the cart versus what was sold on actually went through the checkout. And that's a metric we'll measure as well. Not relevant for all businesses. I know if you're not selling online, you can't measure that. Not the same way. But yeah, there's a few things like that. Trust builders as well, that's on there. If you are an established business and you've got Trustpilot or Google reviews or Meta reviews, wherever it might be, put them on your website. Everybody looks for star rating. If you've got a bad star rating, look in the mirror, fix that first. So there is, yeah, a lot of people, particularly in construction trades, they're very, very aware of their star rating and they'll work hard for it. Often clients will say to us, oh, but people only put a rating when they're moaning about something. Or people understand the value of the review, ask for a good one. If you know you're doing a good service, you're selling something that people like and wanted, ask for the good review. Please give me a review, it's really important to me. Make it personal, people by people. It's that emotional thing. Really help us out. If you enjoyed your meal today, just leave us a little 5-star. Here's a QR code you can scan. Make it easy for people. The reviews, the star ratings make a huge difference. It affects people's willingness to buy from you. I will generally not buy from a company I don't know or haven't come across before if I don't see genuinely Trustpilot or Google review or something that looks to be authentic. And I can see there's actually a train of happy previous customers. So conversion is one of my favourite bits. So I've talked more on that. I will click on. Any questions before I move on? Good. We just a reinforcement about the pain thing. The pain reinforces a sale. Those bullet points are quite useful. You're not selling insurance, you're selling peace of mind. You don't sell houses, you sell a home. Mattresses, no, good night's sleep. Back to our friend online. Rather than selling the product, that's just it's a little thing that helps increase the conversions. This one drives me mad as well. We see it a lot, and I get it. It's technical. Lots of people are not technical. They're really good at doing what they do as a business. So people get a little bit freaked out by analytics and tracking and code and stuff, and it's their web designer person that does it, and they don't really understand it. But actually, if you can put the time in to learn a little bit more about tracking and conversions and understand where is it you're losing people, or what is it actually people are doing on your website, or actually when they visit your store, or when they talk to you on the phone or your call center. I did an exercise many years ago with a double glazing firm. It was a long time ago. I remember it because it was so traumatic. We were doing Google paid search, getting people to their website. We'd already done the work on the website, and their main route to market was people would pick up the phone, and we put some phone tracking in place as well. We recorded all the phone calls, and I had the two directors sitting in our meeting room many years ago, and we started playing back the calls. I said, look, we're getting people to your website, that's working. People are going through the things, they're looking at your before and after shots that are brilliant and lovely. They can see what a wonderful job, your price points are good, you put your pricing on your website, you do all the right things, and this is the next experience. And you heard this, hi, I'm interested in getting some a quote for some double glazing. Oh, all right, hang on a minute. Oh, all right. And it was one of the chaps in the back room. Haven't turned the radio off. Oh, where's that bloody fool? And it was, and the two directors sat there with their heads there. That man must never answer the phone again. And that was the first customer experience of that business that lady had. I think she did buy for them, ironically. But it was, understanding the numbers is good, but actually understand that whole buying process. I had a similar thing with a chap doing damp proofing. He was a sole trader, worked on his own, had his mobile as his main source of. He was very, very busy, and he said to me after a couple of months, "I'm not getting leads." I said, "We know you're getting leads. Here's a list of them." Oh, okay. And here's actually their names. We tracked the clicks through to the website. We tracked the phone calls, and we actually wrote down the names of everybody that was in looking for this investigation proofing service. And so we had a list of all the names, and he went, "Oh yeah, no, hang on. Oh no, I was busy on that one. I couldn't get to the phone. I was actually dropping the kids off that day." And he had a reason why he hadn't taken any of the calls. And I said, "You've got to get a call answering service." For 40 quid a month, we put him in touch with a call answering service, took the call, put the booking in, whacked it in the calendar, much more professional, and he never missed a call again. But actually understanding those conversion points, where are people dropping off? What do your numbers look like? How many people visited your website? How many looked at your social media post? What were they looking for? Did you then service them? Did you actually meet the requirement? That's really important. It's a bit of work. Freaks people out because it's technical sometimes, but it's really worth getting it right. And there's a lot you can track without really invading people's privacy. You can do the phone monitoring and things like that, just to see how many phone calls were generated from this social media campaign, or how many people scanned the QR code on the side of the bus. So there's lots of things like you can track. Worth knowing your numbers, because then you know what of your marketing spend is working. That's as think about heat maps and scroll depths. I'm looking at one at the moment where I'm sitting down for a cup of tea and I'm watching users use a website, and I'm filtering it by anybody who gets to the product pages, so I can see what they do, what do they scroll onto, when do they put it into a basket, when do they purchase. Actually being able to watch that is like literally standing behind someone and watching over their shoulder, and that's a free thing. Takeaway tip: Microsoft Clarity, completely free. You can plug it into your website and you can monitor exactly how people are using your website. It's a lovely, lovely free tool. You don't have to pay for it. Retention. This goes back to the whole values thing, actually, what James was talking about earlier. I think we were talking about this prior coming to this workshop today. Everyone's got stories of a good experience and a bad experience. And I think actually consistently delivering value and doing it the same way every time and going above and beyond consistently is really, really important. If I've seen so many great startups with a fantastic product that can't deliver, and by can't deliver, I mean physically can't deliver. They get the cheapest shipping provider they can, who then literally drop the passage in the hedge, and the brand's name gets dragged through, just gets torn apart online because the delivery company couldn't be bothered. And actually, that's a real shame. You need to be able to make sure you are delivering consistently, whether that's literally physically delivering the product or delivering value. Or I remember going to a local, I shouldn't have been in there, I was selling sweet treats, cakes and stuff like that. And two people behind the counter were, I think, young interns hired in, and they were both chatting to each other while vaguely serving me, both on their phones, and effectively ignored me, as I paid quite an overprice for that particular bit of cake. I never went back. I went, wow, they made me feel rubbish. I didn't get a smile or acknowledgement I existed. And actually, that how we engage with people is really, really important. So yeah, the retention, they'll buy. You can get them there once. If they have a bad experience, it's so much harder to get them again. Any questions on that before I was on? No, good. Anything from the room? No, good. Yeah, I think the retention thing is kind of make it real. Think about the things you think about your day, think about your week. What are the interactions you've had with people, whether it's buying a coffee or buying a new car? Years ago, I bought well, at least a car, and I turned up to pick it up, and at the showroom, and I thought, I've leased lots of cars over the years. And I went, oh, is that mine in the car park? I went, oh no, sir, that's yours here. And the car was in the showroom with a big silk cover on it. And they sort of pulled it off and they made a drama, and they gave me a nice espresso coffee. I went, oh my goodness. And they invited me to a free track day as well. I was like, good grief, I'm not paying any more for this car. But the experience was so good. I tell everybody about that. And wow, that was such a great experience. I don't know why all car manufacturers don't do it, but it was, it was absolutely incredible. You remember those experiences, those interactions, the person that serves you the coffee that smiles and asks how your day's doing. It's those little things, but that's what keeps people coming back. So cool. I will. There's a pop-up poll. I'll make that vanish. Where's?
Sorry, again.
Oh, I haven't cut the Zoom off, have I? Everybody still there?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, I think a lot of people get focused on sales figures and pipelines and numbers and profit and loss, all those good business statistics. But actually, the relationships aren't transactional. Make it real. Make sure your customers understand you really do care, and for that you have to care. That the engagement piece, something we talk about in terms of reputation. It's a favourite saying of mine because it's not immediately obvious. People go, I don't understand. We've done a really good job. We've done exactly what the clients expected. They paid us the money. It was good value. We delivered the product on time. They were happy with it. We know they're happy with it. Why aren't they coming back? And you don't build reputation by doing a good job. You do what they expected. So great, you did exactly what that customer expected. You delivered the thing when they expected it to. It turned up when they thought it would, and they were satisfied. And that's the key word. They were satisfied. Bang in the middle. They were happy. If your product turned up 2 days early, there was a little freebie in there, a little extra gift. It also had a 10% voucher off the next purchase, and a little handwritten note from the owner saying, do you know what? Thank you so much for being a customer. It means important to us. Here's our little backstory, and a picture of me in my first workshop. And you go, oh, did not expect that. Actually, do you know what? And here's a referral card to give to a friend. Do you know what? I will. What a great company. And going above and beyond is where you build reputation. You don't build reputation by doing what people expect. The bigger problem is if you don't do what they expect, your reputation goes down. They'll go, do you know what? I've used that company. I needed that t-shirt for Friday. It turned up Saturday. No good for me then. That's not good. Won't use them again. And people talk down a business or a brand because it misses even just a little bit. If you do what they want, satisfied. Going above and beyond is where people talk about in the pub, and something that we're always talking about is how do we get people talking about us as an agency or our clients as a business? How do we get people talking about what you do in the pub and going, do you know what, these guys, they're something special. That's the last thing I'd say on retention. But yeah, the emotional connections. The tracking bit goes back to numbers. You should be tracking retention. Do you customer loyalty schemes? It often really doesn't get Shopify, yeah.
So well.
Absolutely. People go back to a coffee shop when they got a loyalty card. It's the oldest scheme in the book. They'll buy from a discount. Nectar points, you get £1 off your Sainsbury's shop, wherever it might be. those retention schemes work. They're cheap and easy to implement. Everyone kind of is bought into that idea. They know it's a transaction, but actually little giveaways or little things that makes people feel special. You know, text messaging. I think a lot of the coffee shops would do a, "Hey, it's your birthday, have a free treat on us." What that does for their brand is phenomenal. And probably a lot of people don't take it up. It can work against you. I've seen it on a lot of the big phone providers do it, free coffees, or they do the. I think O2 used to do a Greg's sausage roll once a month or something. They stopped doing it, and it was outcry. Everyone, I love, you know, I really valued, ridiculous, but actually people get bought into those ideas of your level of service, and you drop that level of service for very good reasons. Might be cost, might be a change of direction. You just got to be prepared to how you deal with that, because yeah, retention, people are fickle, and I think particularly if your product or service is something that people can change from easily, they will. And people go, "Hang on, they were buying from me for 15 years. They just went, I don't understand." Well, you stop doing that, and that company there offers it cheaper or better or faster. So yeah, churn rate, community engagement, testimonials, all those sorts of things that to reinforce retention, allow you to keep an eye on it. Yeah, don't be sitting wondering where your customers went. You know, be on top of it, understanding what they value, survey them, talk to them, get feedback, understand what's going on.
Be good, be good.
I'm good for time. You sure? Yeah, there's I think, yeah, deal with leads quickly. Don't leave people hanging. Yeah, if someone doesn't buy from you immediately, don't write them off. I had a sales guy contact me over email, and I dropped him back an email saying, "Hey, not for me right now." I got a really shirty response from him. It was actually really rude. As, "Oh, you can't be a very good business if you don't want my service then." I went, "Wow," you know, and I was like, "I know you're not hitting the targets this month, but don't take that out on me." And it's that's such a negative thing for a brand. Not everyone's going to buy from you. Still offer great value. Be good, even if people don't know about it. Do the right thing. They're all things that, if you're consistent, as James talked about earlier, you're actually living your brand values. You know what your mission is. You're putting your service out there. You're changing the world to do this good thing. Not everyone is going to buy from you, and it doesn't make them bad people. It might just be the wrong time. However, there are those things where you can go back to them and you can go, "Do you know what? You showed interest a month ago. I know it wasn't the right time then. We'd still love to work with you." Or you left that in your basket a while back. You didn't buy it. Maybe now's the right time. People do see triggers around things like payday, depending what your service is. You know, advertising something in the first week of the month is a quite a common trick. A lot of e-commerce people do. Everyone's just got paid. Everyone feels wealthy. I will buy that thing now. I feel good about it. End of the month, they don't want to do it again. They've spent all the salary. But yes, I'm gonna shoot on quickly. It is supposed to be workshop. So I'll just quickly review what parts of there's a lot there. The funnel's long. We obviously love working with companies, helping them develop out those funnels. You can do a lot of this yourself. If you're not looking at your sales cycle, how people buy from you, it's definitely something you can get involved with. Sit down, pen and paper, cup of tea, coffee, whatever your drink of choice is, and run through these things. But pick one and say, "That's where I'm going to start. We're not attracting enough people." There's lots of free tools that will tell you how many people are going to your website. Google Analytics is one. There's others. You can use tools to see how many people are going to your competitors' websites. SEMrush you can use for free. That's a slightly more technical search tool, but it will tell you roughly how many people are using your competitors' websites. So see what the opportunities out there. See, you know, attract as an example, or are we converting well? Actually get someone else to use your website who's not a family or friend, and will tell you quite honestly, "No, this is a bit rubbish. This doesn't work very well. Don't like that color. Didn't realize that was a button." So you can do those sort of things. Pick one of the things on the funnel and say, "Right, we're going to focus on this for the next 2 weeks." And I think you have to, with marketing, sometimes you have to be a bit patient. Sometimes it's seasonal. Sometimes it's just everyone's a bit grumpy because it's raining, or it's sunny. Everyone's outside in the pub. You know, they're not at their desktops, their computers, indoor stores, or wherever it might be. So pick one, run with it. I think we're doing. There's a few obviously suggestions. Put a blog or a story out, as James said earlier. Sometimes finding something that has an emotional impact with people, that's always a thing. That will get better engagement than going, "Hey, we're doing a special on our X." People don't like being sold to. They do like to buy, and they'll buy from someone they trust and engage with. So put out something, story, blog, something on your website. A lot of our clients see the best engagement on their websites through their blogs. Actually, they'll put out once a week or every 2 weeks a bit of information, a helpful guide to doing X, or how to choose your next, whatever it might be. Those sort of things work really well. And Google likes them. They do tend to turn up. Lead magnets is something we haven't talked about, but quick checklist, a holiday ski checklist. Here's a list of things you might want to take for your first time ever skiing. By the way, our ski shop sells X, Y, and Z, but download our free guide. You're giving away a bit of value, giving someone, put in your email address or tick box to go on our newsletter list and build up those things by offering something free, a little magnet, or the finance ones are off, mortgage calculator, repayments calculator, loans calculator, those sort of little helpful things. They work really well. Going back to past leads, people that did show no interest and didn't buy from you, that's always a good one. I'm conscious, I don't want to. Yeah, Brian, keep saying we're all good, but I swear we're going over time. It's marketing is about. Oh, I've got a question.
Marsha Patel, would you advise doing all of this when trying to win new work in the construction sector from house builders, for example? Not sure how much value we get.
Yes to the whole funnel thing. I mean, people, regardless of sector, people say, "Oh, do you market in a certain sector?" We do have some specialists, but we tend to find that marketing works across all sectors. And take construction as an example. People want to trust the people they're buying from. So we've got a lot of industrial clients. Big, that's how we know. All our work comes from inside industry knowledge. People that know us. We go to big trade shows in China. They're never Googling our service. I said, no, but what you're doing is you're going to these trade shows, you've got your pop-up displays, people judge you based on the pop-up banners you've got with you, your stand, the flyers you hand out on the day, the perfect brand brochure, the business card. They're all little judgment points that people form an opinion of your business. And when they do get back from that conference, from that buying show, that whatever it might be, and they've got that stack of business cards and they're going through and they look at it and they look at you and they go, that company was interesting, let me check out their website. It's slow to load and it looks like it was done in the 80s, and you go, they're not a real company, delete. And people judge you really quick. So in terms of things like construction, maybe not look at it from again, without digging into that specific business, we have got a number of construction clients. It's understanding how many people do they want to work with. Is it one or two big partners they want to work with? With someone like that, we might suggest doing outbound marketing where we send them stuff in the post and we actually do a really nice brochure for case studies and befores and afters, and here's why you should work with us and here's what I've. But it's building up that, build the funnel slightly differently because it's not attracting people through search. Again, for small builders or people that do roof cleaning or things like that, befores and afters are fantastic. And everyone always says, oh, we forget to do it. But that's particularly trades, it's one of the most valuable things you can do. Big builder, here was the plot of land, then we stuck 200 houses on it, and now look how amazing it is. And here's Mrs. Smith and her family really happy in this new home. We've delivered value. So I think it's still important, but yeah. Any other questions on that? Fabulous. Yeah, the takeaways, pick some metrics, pick something in the funnel, focus on it. And yeah, we're always happy to help people. We'll always try and give people advice. We're not a sales agency. We're not out selling going rah, rah, rah. My view is help people first and deliver value up front. If people want to engage us with stuff, we always love to get involved. But there's a lot you can do yourself. And yeah, picking bits of those funnels, look at your marketing material, look at your brand. Do your staff know what your brand values are? Do they know what your story is? Do they know what your mission as a company is? If your staff don't know, chances are your customers don't know. People don't buy from companies as much, as James said earlier. If they've got two t-shirts, they look identical, they've got a similar logo, they feel the same, I will generally buy the one that I think I like this company and what they stand for, even if it's a couple of quid more expensive. And people will buy from you if they know what you're about. So that's important. So we have been doing an awful lot of brand workshops recently. On Nippon, that's really what I wanted to deliver in terms of content. I'm aware there was a lot there and I have gone slightly over time, so apologies, Brian.
It's all good.
Yeah, thank you for the questions from online. That's really helpful. Room as well. Yeah, I think it's got Q&A. We've got a few minutes for questions and answers.
Andrew, as your brand evolves, how do you manage it to ensure you demonstrate the core values are there? I am put off when businesses oh, sorry, that
we had that one earlier.
I thought we answered that one. Can you recommend any courses, training in understanding Google Analytics, SEO for more for a small business, please?
Yeah.
More for a small business, please. That one's from Amanda.
There's a lot in terms of Google Analytics. Google themselves have their own mini university. It's free to sign up for. You can actually do your own Google accreditations. We put all of our marketing people through that to make sure that they're certified anyway. but they do pitch. Google like to deal directly with business owners. I normally say don't do that because you're giving them the wallet to the guy that's trying to spend it. It's but in terms of paid things like Google Analytics, there's a lot of really good online resources for that, completely for free. I don't think you need to pay for a course on something like Google Analytics. Analytics particularly can feel very overwhelming because there's so much in it, and you can create very, very complicated dashboards and lots of data flows and everything like that. But it's a really helpful dashboard in getting started with analytics. Your web designer developer can normally just, well, should have done already, just put that bit of tracking code on your website. It is completely free. And yeah, so Google themselves run training for that. What the SEO part of that question, I think it's moz.com are the ones that famously did it. If you search Moz, M-O-Z, SEO beginner's guide, they have an incredibly long document. It's something ridiculous, like 80 pages long. But I think because they wanted to rank top of Google for SEO for beginners. It's actually a really good guide, but it tells you it's SEO particularly, it's not smokes and mirrors and lies and tricks. It's about doing consistently good content, well structured, making things easy to find. But yeah, the Moz guide is free and it's actually pretty good. SEMrush also have a university almost, it's like a SEMrush beginner's guide that they'll take you through. It's not aimed at marketing professionals, it's aimed at business owners. So they're both good free resources you can use. So the Moz one is probably the one I would recommend the most. No question?
From Afia, do you have any more training or internship opportunities for someone starting out with digital marketing?
I really struggle with this, only because I like helping people, but we get asked every single day. So would you either take my son and daughter for work experience, or can I do an internship? I don't want to be paid. And I normally say no. It's not because we don't want to do that. I just couldn't say yes to everybody, and unless I formed an army of interns or something. So we do it occasionally, and we've took on a couple last year in terms of marketing interns. There were people who wanted to return to the industry, who'd been in it before and just wanted to have 6 months of experience under their belt, and we've done that. We have taken apprentices again in the past. There are a lot of companies that will. I just think if you're looking to get into marketing yourself, there's so much material, probably too much. But don't drink all the magic tricks Kool-Aid. There's a lot of people trying to tell you, you become a marketing guru, write ebooks, you can generate £10,000 a month. They get rich quickers, run a mile. Getting into marketing, maybe find some local companies that aren't doing a good job on their social media and actually become a social media expert yourself. That's quite easy to do, and it's an easy way to get involved. Actually communicating, understanding people. That's probably how I'd approach it. If you wanted to get into the space, and we'll always, as a business, we always set up a little bit straight when someone says, I'd love to come and work with you. I've also got a year's worth of freelance under my belt where I've looked after these businesses and delivered these results. That's a lot more eye-opening for us as an agency when someone comes in with that, rather than, hey, throw me a bone, I'd like to learn marketing. Because we do get those every single day, unfortunately. Cool. No more questions. Fabulous. I think we're probably wrapping up then.
Indeed, yeah.
I'll hand back over. Are you saying any words, Brian? Or?
I am indeed. So.
Thank you for listening, and yeah, hope to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week.
Thank you very much for that, guys. A brilliant presentation, and I did love the one about King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne. That one really did make me chuckle. Excellent way of looking at things. And if there's any more questions, please plonk them in the chat. Do apologise for the confusion. Actually, we do. That was, yeah, so Bishop says, thanks, guys. That was really useful. Thank you for that. Just nearly time to wrap up now, but before you go, I would just like to highlight the next event, which is on the 17th of September, and it's on AI, our friend AI, which we spoke about. So details will be sent out of this event via the communications for anybody online. That's basically it for the virtual attendees. Many thanks for joining us, and I hope it was useful. Just so you know, the presentation is available and can be sent out should you wish. And this video will be available for looking at a later date. Many thanks and goodbye.
Guys.